What on earth is happening with Newcastle United? Alan Shearer, the greatest legend in our history, has spoken out, and he didn't hold back. Newcastle's transfer window has been a disaster. And more than that, he sent a clear message about Alexander Isak. If he doesn't want to stay, then goodbye and good luck. Yep, you heard that right. And today, we're diving headfirst into this whole mess. I'm Rodrigo, and you're watching Newcastle Mania, the channel made by fans and for fans who are passionate about Newcastle United. You blinked, and boom, Newcastle was all over the headlines again. We've got missing players, legends speaking out, behind-the-scenes chaos, and of course, the main bombshell of the day is still to come, involving none other than Alexander Isak and Liverpool. But before we get into this drama, which could easily be a Netflix series, just a quick word. Remember those Chelsea fans who said this channel wasn't growing because our fan base was too small? Yeah, well, they've gone pretty quiet lately because our numbers are climbing, so let's keep proving them wrong. If you love Newcastle and want to shut those lads up once and for all, hit that subscribe button right now. It costs nothing, but it sends a massive message. Let's smash through that 1,000 subscriber mark together and show the world what the Black and White Army is all about. Alright then, brace yourself, because this one's UGLY. Alan Shearer's had enough, and has let it rip. This window is a mess. And if Isak doesn't want to stay, let him go. And this is coming from the greatest legend in the club's history. The whole thing exploded right at the start of pre-season. While the rest of the Newcastle squad were heading off to Austria, ready for a packed schedule of friendlies and intense training, Alexander Isak was nowhere to be seen. Nothing. No sign of him. No official explanation either. And then, just a few days later, came the bombshell. Isak didn't just miss a trip. He actually flew himself out to Spain, linked back up with his old club, Real Sociedad, and started training there with his own private medical team. And the most shocking part? This wasn't a misunderstanding. According to sources close to the club, the 25-year-old striker told the board directly he wants out this summer. For good. He no longer sees a future at Newcastle United. He wants to turn the page. He wants a new challenge. That hit like a ton of bricks inside St. James Park. The board were completely caught off guard by the way he handled it. Up until then, Isak was seen as a key player in the project. But now, everything's changed. And of course, when a top-level talent shows signs of wanting to leave, the sharks start circling. Liverpool didn't waste a second. They made an offer, but it was so ridiculously low, so insulting, that Newcastle rejected it immediately. Sources inside the club called it laughable. And they've made it crystal clear. Any serious talks won't even begin below £150 million. But even with that firm rejection, the atmosphere around the club hasn't improved. In fact, it's gotten worse. Behind the scenes, the mood is tense. The coaching staff have no idea whether they can count on Isak. And the fan base? It's starting to split down the middle. The club still hopes for a solution, whether that means motivating Isak to stay or selling him for a massive fee and bringing in someone new. But right now, chaos has taken over. And it was in this messy situation that Alan Shearer decided to speak up loud and clear. Just when it felt like this whole saga couldn't get any crazier. He arrived. The biggest name in Newcastle United's history. The voice that carries away to the stands of our story of generations of passion. Alan Shearer broke his silence on the Rest is Football podcast, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He spoke as an ex-player, as an analyst, but most importantly, as a diehard Newcastle supporter. And he started off by saying something that shocked a lot of people. He's not angry with Isak. Yep, you heard that right. The club's all-time top scorer, the man who lives and breathes black and white, didn't go for Isak's throat. No, I'm not angry with him at all, said Shearer. I understand how football works. I know what goes on behind the scenes, with agents, clubs, negotiations. But then came the part that really hit home. The kind of message that every fan was waiting to hear. Direct, honest, and exactly what this club needed. Now, do I like it? That's another thing. I understand it. Sure. But if he doesn't want to be here, then get him out the door. And then he dropped the line that shook the entire fan base. No player is bigger than a football club. That quote echoed through St. James Park like a thunderclap. Because this isn't just about Isaac. It's about attitude, commitment, respect for the shirt. Shearer wasn't done. Take the money for him. Whoever's willing to pay, let them pay. Bring in someone else. Move on. Thanks for the memories. But off you go. It was a kind of statement that rattles a club to its core. This isn't just anyone talking. It's the face of Newcastle United. When Shearer speaks, it's like the soul of the club shouting out. And his message was crystal clear. If you want to wear this shirt, you've got to earn it. And if you don't, then step aside, because someone else will fight for it. And of course, the fans went absolutely wild. On Twitter, forums, WhatsApp groups, one half of the fan base is firmly on Shearer's side. No one is bigger than the club. But others? They are pointing fingers at the board, saying the club's project is stalled, and Isaac's right to look for a way out. So now I ask you, where do you stand in this whole mess? Drop your opinion in the comments. I'm reading them all. But let's be honest, this whole drama with Isaac didn't come out of nowhere. Since the end of last season, the club has been struggling big time in the transfer window. Eddie Howe asked for reinforcements urgently. The result? So far, only Anthony Elanga has come in. We've missed out on several key targets. And meanwhile, our rivals are splashing the cash and strengthening left and right. That's why Shearer came out swinging and didn't sugarcoat it. This was supposed to be the moment we stepped up to the next level, but it's been the complete opposite. Now, let's talk about Isaac on the pitch. The guy had a brilliant season. Quick, technical, decisive. But he also struggled with injuries, and now he's refusing to rejoin the squad. That messes with the dressing room. It destabilizes everything. And for Eddie Howe, who's already dealing with a thin squad, it's a massive headache. And look, this sort of thing has happened at other clubs too. Harry Kane pushed for an exit at Spurs. Same thing with Sterling at City. Sadio Mane at Liverpool. The difference? Those clubs acted fast. They either sold well or sorted it out internally. In our case, everything is stuck. Now let's talk about the real consequences of all this. If Newcastle do decide to sell Isaac and manage to get something close to the £150 million they are asking for, it could look like a smart move on paper. With that kind of cash, the club could go out and sign a top-level replacement, strengthen other positions, and even ease the pressure from financial fair play. But there's one huge problem with this smart plan. Time is against us. The transfer window is flying by, and with every day that passes, while Isaac's not training, not playing, not making a decision, the club's hands are tied. And if the sale happens too late, the risk is massive. We lose Isaac. We don't have time to find someone of his level. And we start the season with a huge hole up front and no proper replacement. And that, my friends, could be very costly. Remember last season, when we struggled with injuries and a thin squad? Now imagine going into the new season even more short-staffed and with uncertainty hanging over the dressing room. Of course, the club is already moving behind the scenes. Sources say the board is working hard to identify possible replacements, young talents with potential, but also players ready to come in and lead the line straight away. But here's the big question. Will there be enough time to do all of this properly? Or are we going to go into the season patching things up last minute? Because if we get this wrong now, it's not just about losing a star. It's about jeopardizing the whole project. It's throwing away the chance to take the next step and fight alongside the big boys in the Premier League. And there's more. This whole saga could cause ripple effects inside the squad too. How will the players react if Isaac leaves and there's no replacement? How will Eddie Howe set up the team without his main striker? And how will the fans keep their faith if the transfer window ends with no real reinforcements? It's a tough decision. But one thing's crystal clear. Newcastle cannot afford to mess this up. Whatever the club decides now is going to echo through the entire season. Here's the bottom line. The Newcastle shirt is bigger than any player. If you want to wear it, you've got to respect it. We've fought too hard to reach this new level. This is not the time to let things fall apart because of ego or poor decision-making. If Isaac no longer wants to be one of us, then fine. Let someone else step up who does. But as for the institution that is Newcastle United, we never bow our heads. And listen, if you also believe that Newcastle needs players who honor this shirt, who fight until the final whistle, who feel the weight of black and white when they step onto the pitch, then this channel is for you. Smash the like button. It really helps us spread the voice of the Toon Army. Share this video with that mate who loves Newcastle just as much as you do. And hit that subscribe button right now to be part of this growing community. Here on Newcastle Mania, we don't talk in cold numbers. We speak with the passion of real fans. Because those who truly love this club live every bit of news like they're on the bench, ready to jump in and fight for the badge. So if you're not part of the family yet, join us. Let's show everyone that Newcastle fans are loud, proud, and absolutely massive. Let's hit 1,000 subscribers together. This is the Black and White Army. This is Newcastle. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And I'll see you in the next video right here on Newcastle Mania.